Welcome back. When does violence stop being just another attack and become an act of terrorism? That question is once again confronting Nigerian after another deadly assault in Benue State left 8 people dead, including 3 children. This time, the state's Commissioner of Police has made a strong assessment, describing the incident not simply as banditry or communal violence, but as a terrorist attack. It is a description that immediately raises the stakes and reflects growing concerns about the changing nature of insecurity across parts of Nigeria. But beyond the tragic loss of life lies a much bigger issue. Why do attackers continue to strike rural communities and disappear before security forces can catch them? This latest incident highlights one of the biggest operational challenges facing security agencies. The attackers reportedly used guerrilla tactics, moving quickly, striking under the cover of surprise, and retreating into nearby forests before security forces could mount an effective response. According to the news agency of Nigeria, the attack occurred in a rural community within Otukpo local government area of Benue State. Police authorities confirmed that 8 people lost their lives, comprising 5 adults and 3 children. The attack has once again plunged another community into grief while raising fresh concerns about the safety of residents living in remote areas. Confirming the incident, the Commissioner of Police in Benue State, Mr. Cletus Nwadibo, disclosed that he personally traveled to the affected community together with other security personnel shortly after the attack. According to him, security agencies spent several hours in the area assessing the situation, restoring calm and engaging the community members whose emotions were understandably running high. The commissioner explained that communication proved difficult throughout much of the operation because security personnel had moved deep into the interior while mobile network coverage was poor. According to him, officers remained on one ground throughout the day while working to stabilize the security situation and reassure frightening residents. But the attack triggered another challenge. Following the killings, angry youth reportedly blocked roads and staged protests over the worsening security situation. Police said extensive discussions were held with community leaders and the protesting youths before they eventually agreed to reopen the affected roads. Authorities said the protesters were only waiting for water tankers to extinguish fires that had been set during the unrest. One of the most important aspects of the police commissioner's briefing was his description of the attack itself. When asked whether the killings were connected to previous violent incidents in the area, Mr. Nwadibo said investigations were still ongoing and that it was too early to establish any direct link. However, he made it clear that in his assessments, the latest assault should be regarded as a terrorist attack. According to the police commissioner, the attackers employed guerrilla warfare tactics rather than remaining in the community. They reportedly struck quickly before disappearing into nearby forests. That pattern has become increasingly familiar across several parts of Nigeria, where armed groups rely on mobility, knowledge of difficult terrain, and surprise attacks to avoid direct confrontation with security forces. Guerrilla tactics present unique challenges for security agencies. Unlike conventional armed groups that attempt to hold territory, guerrilla fighters often launch rapid assaults before retreating into forests, mountains, or other difficult terrain. This makes tracking and intercepting them significantly more complicated, particularly in rural areas where road networks and communication infrastructure remain limited. For residents of affected communities, these attacks create an atmosphere of constant fear. Families often go to sleep uncertain whether armed men might arrive during the night. Farmers worry about cultivating their land. Traders become reluctant to travel and local economies gradually suffer as insecurity discourages normal social and economic activities. The latest killings also add to growing concerns over insecurity in Benue State, a region that has experienced repeated violent attacks over the years. Although the causes of different incidents have varied, including criminal activity, communal disputes, and attacks by armed groups, the human consequences remain devastating. Families lose loved ones, communities become displaced, and survivors are left trying to rebuild lives after each new tragedy. The police have assured residents that security agencies are intensifying efforts to track those responsible. According to Commissioner Nwadibo, investigators are continuing to gather intelligence while security personnel pursue the attackers in an effort to prevent further assaults. Authorities also hope ongoing investigation will determine whether the latest incident forms part of a broader pattern of organized attacks in the area. Yet, this tragedy once again raises a difficult national question. Can Nigeria stay ahead of armed groups that increasingly rely on speed, surprise, and knowledge of local terrain? Military operations have intensified across several states, and security agencies continue recording arrests and operational successes. However, attacks such as these demonstrate that protecting remote communities remains one of the country's greatest security challenges. For the families who lost loved ones, statistics and security assessments offer little comfort. 5 adults and 3 children are no longer alive. Their community has been left traumatized, while survivors now wait for justice and reassurance that similar attacks will not happen again. Whether that reassurance comes through stronger security deployments, improved intelligence gathering, or broader reforms, one thing remains clear: until vulnerable communities can sleep without fear, Nigeria's fight against insecurity is far from over. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you find this report informative, kindly like, share, and subscribe for more news reports. I'm Chidera Esom. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next reports.